good to have you join us on Nationwide on Africa's largest television network. Ian Ray John. President Muhammadu Buhari's address to the first edition of the Paris Peace Forum has been the crux of prevailing global challenges and the most practical sustainable peace and development. These were the views of Nigerian delegates to the forum, attended by over 60 world leaders. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
In his address to the world leaders at the three-day peace forum put together by the French government to bolster multilateralism and collective action in tackling global challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari harped on the need for the international community to not only crack down on safe havens for corrupt assets, but also ensure that such illicit funds are recovered and returned to countries of origin. Using Nigeria's experience, the president said the threat of jail terms is no longer sufficient to deter perpetrators because of the lucrative nature of corruption. Some members of the Nigerian delegation say the president has truly projected Nigeria as a force that cannot be ignored any further on issues critical to global peace, stability, and prosperity.
When you look at what our president spoke about here, it's a subject close to his heart. Anti-corruption, illicit financial flows, and how to stem the tide of that. As the ambassador for anti-corruption for the entire continent of Africa, it is also appropriate that it's the one being asked to do this, because at home, is not only putting processes and institutions in place to ensure that the fight against anti-corruption is sustainable over the long term, whether you talk of PACAC or you talk of strengthening EFCC or strengthening ICPC or even the open governance partnership that Nigeria has been a leader in the world. It's very clear that the president is not just personally committed, but he's institutionally committed to ensuring that Nigeria stems the tide of corruption in the country, but also becomes a moral beacon on the continent and in the world.
There is no way you can promote peace where there is massive corruption. Massive corruption deprives people of development. And if there are no developments, obviously there won't be any peace, and people will move from where they are to even other countries in search for what they should do to support their lives. So when you look at, you are talking about peace, you look at the whole gamut of it. It's not about shooting guns or dropping bombs alone, but doing what is right as a government, as a community, that promotes peace. Corruption kills development.
The Peace Forum, which ends on Tuesday, is expected to come up with far-reaching measures towards addressing global challenges for peace and socio-economic development. From Paris, France, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from Paris, 3 years ago, President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Geoffrey Onyema as the Minister of Foreign Affairs with a mandate to steer the ship of Nigeria's diplomacy towards attracting the international community to supporting the administration deliver the change it promised Nigerians. In this report, Foreign Desk correspondent Makud Simon Marcham highlights some of the key landmarks.
When President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Geoffrey Onyema as Minister of Foreign Affairs in 2015, many described the decision as appropriate given the experience and exposure of the minister at the international level. On assuming office, the minister demonstrated sufficient understanding of his brief and the vision of President Muhammadu Buhari and the APC government for Nigeria. His was to ensure that Nigeria's partners around the world understood what Nigeria's development trajectory was under President Buhari's leadership.
The first challenge was really to launder, to clean the image of the country, you know, and part of that process was using his own personal brand image, you know, is known for integrity.
Together with the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Khadija Bukar Ibrahim, the minister was therefore up and doing in facilitating President Buhari's engagement with world leaders at various levels, including the United Nations, African Union, Commonwealth, and other multilateral bodies. Little wonder the African Union chose President Muhammadu Buhari as the continent's anti-corruption champion, while the ECOWAS unanimously elected him the chairman of the ECOWAS Council of Heads of State.
It is a testament of the confidence and trust the international community has in him, because they expected that we are dealing with somebody we can trust.
In the past 3 years, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under Jeffrey Onyema has also been able to implement the president's concern about Nigerians in the diaspora, as shown by the response to Nigerians' distress in Libya and recently in Ghana, where Nigerian traders were harassed. Nigeria has also been able to demonstrate its leadership by winning elections to the African and ECOWAS Court of Justice, as well as becoming the president of the International Criminal Court in The Hague, among others. That a Nigerian is the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations and the fact that the country's image is on the positive rise, experts say, shows clearly that the nation's diplomatic template is moving in the right direction. In Abuja, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
And now heading to the National Assembly, senators adjourned for 1 week to enable its committees conclude their various oversight visits. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the National Assembly has previously adjourned for 2 weeks for the same purpose.
The Senate Standing Order stipulates that once the Senate is not up to 38 members, that is not up to a quorum, that the Senate shall stand adjourned to the next legislative day. It's on that premise that the Senate Minority Whip, Philip Aduda, moved the motion calling on the Senate to adjourn the day's plenary.
I want to move that since we have not formed quorum, we may therefore adjourn. But in doing so, I want to also say that the Senate, why it is empty today is because various committees are carrying out oversight duties.
The motion, seconded by Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, was eventually adopted.
Just for our record, we're not less than 10, but I think we are less than 20. So I second the motion.
I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn till next week, Tuesday, the 20th of November 2018.
I'm going to put the questions. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. It's important that our members who are not here, we should please communicate to them, those on oversight, to ensure that they finish whatever they have during the week, so that we know that we have finished with the area of the oversight.
The Senate has now adjourned to reconvene on the 20th of November 2018 to enable those committees conclude their oversight functions. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Ignatius. House of Representatives has expressed concern over reactions to trade reports of its funding on National Emergency Management Agency on allegations of violation of public trust. Chairman of the Committee on Emergency and Disaster Management, Representative Aliyu Issa, said some media publications were contrary to contents of the report, adding that all recommendations were informed by submissions of stakeholders at a public hearing on the matter. Details of the story will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on, and now heading to Kano. Kano State House of Assembly Committee investigating bribery scandal against Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje suspends ongoing investigation on alleged bribery allegation against the governor, pending the substantive suit before Justice Ahmed Tijani Badamasi of Kano High Court. Mansour Aliyu Hassan has the details. That report would come to you in the course of this bulletin. Now time to take a pause at this end, and let's join Michael in our Lagos studio for more on Nationwide. Hello, Michael.
Thank you, Aire, and welcome to Lagos. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo is advocating autonomous power to states for rapid economic growth. Professor Osinbajo stated this at a forum in Lagos against the background of the continuous agitations for geographical restructuring of the country. Records from the National Bureau of Statistics show that the population of people living in extreme poverty in Nigeria was 112 million between 2010 and 2014. Vice President Osinbajo wondered why the country should experience such change in fortune at a time when the country experienced a record oil revenue of $381 billion. This analogy is what the Vice President used to counteract the call for geographical restructuring, adding that what the country needs is to frontally address what it termed ground corruption and mismanagement.
Today, our trader money scheme is costing us 20 billion, 20. But somebody with $292 million, almost 70 billion. If you had 70 billion, you will solve the problems of 7 million of those petty traders.
The Vice President said efforts should be channeled towards annexing the constitutional power of the state assemblies to enact law and create massive opportunities for good governance.
We need to ensure that we generate income, and then of course the states must be stronger. But the point I'm also making is that even today, despite the fact that we haven't done any major constitutional changes, it is possible for us to have stronger states. It's possible for us to have more autonomous states, despite the fact that we have not yet made a major constitutional change.
Lawmakers and public analysts at the forum aligned with the Vice President's view, insisting that if the multiplicity of agencies has not solved some societal challenges, then geographical restructuring is not the answer. The theme of the forum was restructuring and the Nigerian Federation. The national roadmap to attaining sustainable electricity supply in Nigeria is non-negotiable. This was the concluding remark of the Senate Committee on Power Works, Power Still Development and Methodology at the end of its oversight visit to the Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Lagos. Muhammad Abdulkadir reports.
This is the headquarters of Eco Electricity Distribution Company, located in the Commercial Nerve Center of Lagos. While at its boardroom on the 14th floor, members of the Senate Committee on Power, Steel Development and Metallurgy robustly engaged the management of the DISCO. In a business-like manner, the host had 20-slide presentation that can be called its balanced scorecards, which were counterbalanced by the parliamentarians. Both parties were passionate about the need for every consumer to be metered to discourage estimated billing system and to guarantee sustainable electricity supply to take Nigerians out of poverty and to entrench prosperity.
In there, we're ready to go ahead and do whatever it takes to supply 24/7 power to the people of at least our network. And we're determined to do this.
Energy theft, vandalism and all that is scattered all over different laws and different areas in our laws. And so we want to see whether we can all consolidate them into one bill, and that will help everybody in the sector.
The final port of call by the committee was the Nigeria Electricity Liability Management. In Lagos, Muhammad Abdulkadir, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says no effort will be spared to ensure that the well-being of officers and men of the Nigerian Army is given attention. He stated this at the inauguration of an officer mess located at the military hospital in Ikoyi, Lagos. Lynn Neneke has details.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, who was represented at the event by Major General Okeke, said the recreational facility is born out of the need to provide a conducive environment for the Army medical personnel to relax.
We want to commend this great effort to return professionalism and regimentation to this hospital and to the staff of the hospital. Happy that at this time we have a Chief of Army Staff that is very much concerned about the development of the facilities in the medical corps.
Renovation works were also carried out at the medical facility and a perimeter fence put in place to safeguard the environment.
It will enhance our productivity and then their welfare generally. This is in line with Chief of Army Staff's vision.
The military hospital was originally known as Creek Hospital and was renamed in 1947 as the Military Hospital Ikoyi. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Time now to join Mohammed Abdullahi in our Kaduna Network Center. Hello, Mohammed. Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us here in Kaduna. Kaduna State Government has lifted the curfew in Kaduna metropolis and environs. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Samuel Arwan, says a security review has determined that the nighttime curfew hours be retained in Kujama, Kasur Magani, and Kachia towns. The curfew in Kachia will be enforced from 10 o'clock in the evening to 6 in the morning, while Kasur Magani and Kujama remains from 5 o'clock in the evening to 6 in the morning. In line with the federal government's drive for prudent utilization of funds, the House of Representatives Committee on Tertiary Education Services has carried out an on-the-spot assessment of the budget performance of the National Board for Technical Education in Kaduna. The report. The visit was to assess the implementation of the 2018 budget by the board. The executive secretary of the board presented the analysis of income and expenditure within the period under review.
We are really in want of money, and we are working very hard to see that we really augment or bring out ways and manners by which we can jack up our IGR.
The chairman of the House Committee on Tertiary Education and Services, Suleiman Aminu, said the committee is impressed with the level of utilization of funds by the board.
There is clear evidence and justification of prudent management of the little they have, and we encourage them to continue to act in this matter in accordance with the policy of the current government of being prudent and honest and committed in expenditures.
So our expectation between now and January, most of these releases will be made.
The visit forms part of the oversight functions of the committee. Moving over to Jigawa State now, where stakeholders in the health sector are celebrating 5 years of zero polio infection. To consolidate on the gains, a meeting has been held involving traditional rulers and health experts. Awal Muhammad Kazori has details of this report.
The meeting with the Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Sanusi, and representatives of all other 4 emirates in the state in attendance was to mobilize the traditional rulers on the need to continue the fight against the polio scourge. The Executive Secretary, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, represented by Dr. Adamu Nuhu, commended the commitment of stakeholders in the fight and pledged more technical support to the state to sustain the tempo.
Jigawa State has done remarkably well interrupting the circulation of the WPV for over 6 years now as a result of the high-level leadership commitment by His Excellency and state team with the support of the chair of the Traditional Leaders Forum.
It's an important point that we're discussing about how to quickly fast-track the eradication of polio in the state and also in the country at large. And that's the main reason why we consider that the traditional institution is a very strong stakeholder in the fight against polio in the country.
Adding their voice at the sensitization meeting, development partners in the healthcare delivery called for more budgetary allocation to the health sector by government at all levels. The meeting applauded the current status of zero wild polio virus in the state. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Many thanks, Awal, and that's the bit from here. But nationwide will continue immediately after this short break. Don't go away.
Speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon
of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The rice revolution in Nigeria, the gains, future prospects, and the plans beyond food sufficiency. That's the focus this week on NTA Tuesday Live. The program promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
My name is Orioye Benedict Baishimure. I am a native of Odunje Mitale community, Odunla in Ilaja local government area. I am an Empower beneficiary and teach, to be precise. Empower has seriously impacted into my business and my local community. Before the advent of the Empower program, I didn't really have the initiative of starting the business like this. And as it is now, everybody around the community is interested to work with me because of the value addition that I've added into the business. I got some of this idea through the Empower tab, the tab that was given to us. The thing has really helped my local community. The most important thing is that it has really changed the mentality of the graduates in my community.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Good to have you back. And now taking a look at politics, the achievements of the All Progressives Congress leadership, as well as the Igbo presidency Camp 2030 were discussed as the Buhari Support Organization in the Southeast held a one-day summit in Enugu. Eukaria Ugo reports that delegates were drawn from the 5 states in the Southeast.
The National Coordinator, Buhari Support Organization, Dr. Mahmoud Abubakar, expressed satisfaction with the Igbos' acknowledgement of their good relationship with President Muhammadu Buhari. He urged the people of the state to vote for President Buhari in the forthcoming election to enable him continue with the ongoing developmental projects in the Southeast zone.
He has given the Southeast so much appointment, so much infrastructural development. If you want progress, if you want what you have achieved so far to continue, vote President Muhammadu Buhari.
The Zonal Coordinator, Buhari Support Organization Southeast, Stanley Ohajiroka, said the summit is aimed at conveying the message of the president, handing over the mantle of leadership to an Igbo man. He urged Igbos to emulate the footsteps of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe by aligning with the people of the North to gain their support in elections.
Has come to tell our people, mobilize them, and towards ensuring that Mr. President is re-elected into office come 2019 with overwhelming support.
They have clearly defined the road and the routes to the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019.
Speaker after speaker reiterated their optimism that re-election of President Buhari will benefit the Igbos more. Highlights of the event were the launching of Ziki's Buhari's movement and recognition of coordinators in various local government areas of the states in the zone. In Enugu, Eukaria Ugu, NTA News.
A political group, Buhari Achievement Awareness Forum, says it is poised to mobilize grassroots support for the re-election of President Buhari by increasing people's perception and sustenance of the policies and programs of the APC-led government. Political correspondent Salihu Abdullahi reports.
The forum has commenced door-to-door awareness rally in support of the Buhari administration. The starting point is Suleja in Niger State, where handbills carrying detailed information about the achievements of the APC-led government were shared, championed by the youth. The forum provides opportunity for interaction with the public to increase their knowledge with a view to closing information gap about government activities.
Because most of the people at the grassroots level, they are not aware of the numerous achievements of the President Muhammadu Buhari.
I was one time the chairman under PDP government, 3-time chairman of the local government. But let me say the truth. I have never seen an achievement like this, because it's something on the ground that you cannot disprove it.
Similarly, Niger Delta youth for Buhari have reaffirmed their unrelenting efforts to ensure victory for APC in the Niger Delta in view of the stability and all-round development Nigeria and Nigerians are witnessing under the Buhari administration. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And still on the 2019 elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission has engaged various civil society organizations from the 19 northern states to strengthen electoral process towards ensuring free, fair and credible 2019 general elections. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that the commission engaged the participants at a workshop in Kano, supported by the European countries for electoral support.
The role of civil society organizations in strengthening democracy in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. The dialogue between Independent National Electoral Commission and CSOs is aimed at enhancing synergy and seek input from stakeholders in the build-up of 2019 general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu says, with less than 100 days to elections, it is imperative to get it right from now. Other issues to be addressed include vote buying, inclusivity to gender with disability, internal party democracy, among others.
Society organizations have supported processes and institution of political reforms, in particular expanding inclusivity in the electoral process and ensuring greater degree of integrity.
The representative of European Center for Electoral Support, Teresa Maria, described Nigeria's civil society organizations as vibrant, urging them not to be partisan in the discharge of their responsibilities.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world in marking the annual World Science Day, the federal government has urged all professionals to recognize the fact that the future of the nation in terms of peace and prosperity depends on the development of science and technology in the country. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Bunaya Onu, at this year's celebration of the day in Abuja, maintained that a good starting point is for scientists to better understand human rights as specific obligations essential to human well-being. Justin Bem Onye reports that the theme of this year's celebration is science and human rights.
World Science Day is an annual celebration that highlights the important role of science in society and the need to engage the wider public in debates on emerging scientific issues. This year's celebration in Nigeria comes with a lecture, Science, a Human Right, with a message that government has to create more opportunities for public participation in science because it is for all humanity.
This starts with acknowledging that individuals have the right to participate in research as more than just clinical trial participants, and that the public has a role to play in scientific agenda setting and the translation of science into policy and practice.
Guarantee that government will promote science and technology.
The federal government is assuring Nigerians that it will continue to take steps to ensure that science contributes to national development. And of great importance is the recognition that science has the capacity to drive the economy and change its course to knowledge-based.
It is very clear to us that it is only us, Nigerians, that can really make Nigeria truly a great nation. And this can be accomplished through the effective participation and involvement of all our professionals.
The minister mentioned the effort of the government in ensuring that science and technology is deployed to provide the needed foundation for economic growth as contained in the National Strategy for Competitiveness in Raw Materials and Product Development in Nigeria. Justin Bem-Unyi, NTA News.
And now looking at the environment, after weeks of untold hardship occasioned by devastating flood that destroyed homes, victims in Bayelsa and Delta states are now recovering as the Presidential Amnesty Committee donates relief materials to more than 40 communities. For instance, communities in Bomadi, Burutu, Patani and Ugeli local government areas in Delta State got food items, medicals, toiletries and other household items.
Amnesty program is essentially about the Niger Delta. So if there is anything that is affecting them, it affects us directly or indirectly. So we felt we should do something at least to alleviate their pains.
It's another wonderful thing, and I'm sure the state is excited about it.
Thank you. Federal government, thank you. Everybody, thank you. Even our president, I thank him.
I'm so happy. Una do well. Things are very get as a day, but una dey try.
In Bayelsa State, communities in Sagbama, Kolokoma, Okpokoma, Southern Ijo and Yenegwa local government areas, most of which are on the coastlines, enjoyed a similar gesture, which the Presidential Amnesty Committee sees as a needed investment of the federal government to support victims of the flood disaster. More items are to be distributed to other communities in Bayelsa and Delta states. Moving on, the Nigerian Traders Association has been advised to self-regulate so as to guard against the use of harmful chemicals by its members in preserving food items meant for consumers. Food experts made their position clear while taking a look at food preservation hazards on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Patricia Isami-Luba reports.
The position of these experts emanates from an alarm raised recently by the Consumer Protection Council over the harmful content of chemicals used in preserving beans in Nigeria. Though they agree that traders involved in the practice seem ignorant of the harm their actions could cause, they advise Nigerians to take a stand against the practice by rejecting poorly handled food in the market.
What I think we should do as a nation is this, that first and foremost, we should say no to some of these things. See, the problem is not about regulation. Now the issue of meats and tomato and whatever that is the market that we're talking about, I keep advocating in any forum that I find myself. I said, if you go to buy tomato and they put tomato on the bare ground, maybe with cement bag on the ground, they get water from somewhere, sprinkle on it, why do we have to buy it?
These chemicals potentially are killers. What do? They kill the cells in the body. They cause nervous problems, central nervous problems. When you hear insecticide, herbicide, the side means kill.
What we are doing now is to sensitize people. We have already started, longest time, sensitizing the marketers, the market people, the traders, the farmers. And also, we are also training our staff in all the 36 zones of in all the 36 states of Nigeria.
They were, however, not pleased by the response of the Traders Association, insisting that they had to do more while other agencies employ better strategies to enhance synergy to nip the challenge in the bud. Representative of traders on set explained that a lot of effort is currently being made to rid markets of these poisonous food items through training and proper sensitization.
The need for proper engagement for regulators to relate with our traders is something we need to deal with because it's a concern.
In their final submission, it was agreed that the entire nation must work closely to report those engaged in this harmful practice, thereby saving lives. In Abuja, Patricia Isami-Luba, NTA News.
Many thanks, Patricia. And moving to Yola now, building trust through understanding causes of crisis and appropriate solutions by stakeholders have been identified as effective ways of handling the multifaceted crisis and insecurity in the Northeast. Ladi Bala reports that these were the views of stakeholders at a one-day workshop on peace and transitional justice organized by Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative in Yola.
Construction and reintegration of the Northeast, which has been brought to its lowest level in infrastructural deficit, socio-economic backwardness, as well as widespread of different kinds of crises, require more than government response, but all stakeholders to be realized. The Peace Building and Transitional Justice Workshop, organized by the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative for traditional rulers, religious leaders, judges, and security operatives in Adamawa State, is aimed at building their capacity for effective response to crisis situation and management. Earlier, while declaring the workshop open, the representative of the chairman, Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative, who is also a member representing Adamawa in the committee, Ambassador James Burka, noted that insecurity and trust deficit have continued to widen the gap in restoring peaceful coexistence in the region, hence the need for the workshop.
The PCNI on behalf of government will continue to advocate for upholding of the rule of law while providing an enabling environment for dialogue, mediation, and reconciliation, as well as reintegration.
On his part, Chairman of Green Horizon, represented by Amina Muhammad, said rebuilding social cohesion through improved access to justice, peace building, and reconciliation has become imperative. In their separate submissions, representative of Lamido of Adamawa, religious organizations, security operatives, and other stakeholders were unanimous on the need for collective response in finding lasting peace and progressive society. In Yola, Ladibala, NTA News.
And away from Yola now, looking at infrastructural development, President Muhammadu Buhari approves intervention fund for repair of roads in Southeast. Kemi is our guide from our Ibadan studio. Hello, Kemi. It's over to you.
Hello, Irene, and welcome to Ibadan. Nigerians and people of Southwest in particular will soon heave a sigh of relief as President Muhammadu Buhari has approved special intervention fund for the reconstruction and expansion of roads across the region. Chairman Senate Committee on Works, Senator Kabiru Gaya, gave assurance while mandating the contractors handling the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to speed up works of the project. Fatai Adieloja covered the Senate Works Committee's inspection of the federal roads in the Southwest and now reports.
Senator Kabiru Gaya pointedly told the contractor handling the Ibadan-Shagamu portion of the road that the road must be delivered in record time as government is not leaving any stone unturned in funding.
The budget is in trillions, but government is trying to continue paying accordingly. Well, 34,000 kilometers of road we are working on.
The Senate Committee on Works that just visited, they have said there's going to be inflow of cash.
Mom was the word from the contractor who declined comment, referring us to higher authorities in Abuja. While playing host to the team, Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun pleaded with them to facilitate prompt release of money expended on federal roads by the state.
The federal government road, we submitted a quote of 146 billion. I think they said, okay, they have certified about 123 billion, but they've only approved 59 billion. That 59 billion hasn't even been paid.
As of today, we are around 88% completion of the road. The rates are obsolete.
Oyo State Governor Isiaka Ajumobi, represented by his deputy Moses Alake Adeyemo, decried the deplorable state of roads in the state and called for speedy intervention. Inspection wise continued in Ibadan. Fatai Adieloja, NTA News.
Core members posted to Oyo State have a mandate to identify critical needs of their host communities with a view to proffer solutions to them. The mandate was handed over at the passing out parade of Batch C Stream 1 core members at the NYC orientation camp in Iseyin Town, Oyo State. Larry Belay has details.
The 4 critical needs areas the core members are to focus on in their host communities are rural healthcare, education, rural infrastructure, and agriculture. Now equipped with the know-how of tackling these critical areas in their 3-week orientation program is the first phase, which is now over with this passing out parade for the core members.
Taking the salute right now.
The next phase is to go into the host communities and demonstrate this knowledge, which the governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi, says must be improved upon and become the hallmark of their service year. The state coordinator, NYC Oyo State, corroborated the governor, charging the core members to go out there and make a difference.
So they should be ready to sacrifice in this 1-year service. They are coming to serve their fatherland.
2,182 core members deployed to Oyo State tagged 2018 Batch C Stream 1 now off to their place of primary assignment. From the NYC Saying Camp, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Waste, if well managed, can generate revenue, create job opportunities, and contribute to the economic development of a country. This was the focus of discourse at the 24th Arokodare Memorial Lecture organized by the Nigerian Society of Engineers in Ibadan. Correspondent Shola Wahid has the report.
Solid waste management remains one of the most daunting environmental sanitation challenges facing the country. Speaking on the topic, the challenges and prospects of sustainable solid waste management in Nigeria, the roles of Nigerian engineers, Engineer Bolaniwa Olowe noted that solid waste management is a major concern in Nigeria that needs adequate environmental policies and legislations.
It is very important for us to adopt the right approaches and technologies to manage our waste, not to destroy the future of our young generation and our children.
It's important for us as engineers to review our roles, to sensitize ourselves, to awaken ourselves, to ensure a better, safer and cleaner environment.
The 3 tiers of government are advised to harmonize solid waste management policies that will be beneficial to the country. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's over now to Maiduguri, where Mohammed is standing by for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Kemi, and welcome to Maiduguri. A 3-day Comptroller General of Immigration Annual Conference 2018 has commenced in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, with a focus on issues concerning border crimes and terrorism. The conference, whose objective is to draw up border policy framework that will put in place effective and efficient border management strategies for immigration service, has in attendance officers and men of paramilitary formations, experts, and representatives of other security outfits. Mohamed Goni reports.
The 2018 Comptroller General of Immigration Annual Conference has as its theme enhanced border security and controlled irregular migration, a panacea for internal security challenges. Represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Mohamed Bello Umar, the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazo, expressed the urgent need for all agencies of government charged with the responsibility of border security to set in motion various tools to enable them achieve the desire of government for a secured and friendly business environment.
It was deliberate. They took this conference here in Borno to showcase other Nigerians that Borno is peaceful.
Governor Kashim Shettima called on Nigerian Immigration Service to set up a committee comprising retired officers of the service to address border security challenges.
It is time we made that call for action. Nigeria has the resources, and most importantly, the peace and security around the borders to put firm measures in place.
Comptroller General of Immigration Mohamed Babandede said global migration issues have become so dynamic and complex, adding that the conferences serve as avenues for sharing of experiences with stakeholders that are critical to NIA's operational activities.
We are here to ensure greater protection for Nigeria, so that in our duty we balance the two: facilitation of clearance at our borders, land, sea and air, without compromising security.
There were goodwill messages from the Office of the National Security Advisor, represented by DIG Peace Ibikwe, the Sheikh of Borno, represented by the Sheikh of Dikwa, National Assembly, represented by Senator Mohamed Ali Ndume, and the International Organization for Migration, all assuring support to the NIS. The delegation had earlier paid a courtesy call on Governor Kashim Shettima at the Government House in Maiduguri. Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
As part of move to ensure hitch-free and successful conduct of 2019 general elections, Independent National Electoral Commission, Borno State, has displayed names of all candidates and their particulars contesting various political positions in the state. Maimuna Garba reports.
Ahead of 2019 general elections, Borno State Independent National Electoral Commission has pasted names of political parties' candidates across the state alongside their particulars to enable all see the names and their credentials. The display by INEC is part of requirement that lead to the general elections. A visit to INEC office, Borno State, indicates that names of prospective candidates for presidential, senatorial, House of Representatives, Governors, and State Assembly were pasted on wall of the Commission for easy access. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner of Borno, Mohammed Magaji Ibrahim, said the display of candidates' particulars is very important in the electoral process.
So far, even if there are some objections or claims, normally the claims will not come to us, especially for the credential of candidates. Anybody who has any objection is advised to go to the court and make his presentation there.
Mohammed Magaji Ibrahim called on politicians to conduct themselves well during electioneering campaigns, which is expected to commence soon. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Now health matters. The seasonal malarial chemo prevention campaign launched in Borno State in 2017 towards reducing high burden of malaria, especially among children of 3 to 59 months, appears to be effective. Pauline Kujevana, who examined the situation, reports that due to successes achieved, the fourth cycle of the program is now underway, targeting more than 850,000 children in Borno State.
The seasonal malaria chemo prevention campaign was initiated by World Health Organization towards reducing the toll of malaria by saving 10,000 lives among children under 5 years in Borno State. More than 2,700 volunteers across 7 local government areas of the state are involved in the program. As a result, the State Ministry of Health, supported by WHO, is targeting more than 850,000 children in the first cycle of the seasonal malaria chemo prevention campaign for the 2018, the concluding cycle for Borno State this year. According to Health Emergencies Program Manager of WHO, Dr. Collins Oweli, the lessons learned from the campaign in the northeastern Nigeria can be applied in other emergency settings across the world.
We have several interventions. We have the one that is for pregnant women, that we call it intermittent preventive therapy, given to pregnant women from second trimester of pregnancy to prevent malaria fear being transmitted to the unborn child. We usually have prevention activities where we talk to parents on how to prevent malaria.
World Health Organization focal person in the Northeast, Dr. Iningla, said the use of this preventive strategy, especially during the peak transmission period, that is the rainy season, has indicated reduced cases of severe malaria by about 75%. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
You are watching Nationwide. More reports after this timeout.
Yeah, Mode. Do you have Yamala? Yes. And Abula? Yes. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Yes, sir. Give me amala and Abula. Do you have dodo? The program. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want you to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, shuku. Above this, I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stock. And catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. Look, you have eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, catfish will do. And then rice. rice and some salad. Look, do you have a guru?
Glad to have you back. And it's now time to talk sports. Kene Emma Bodike will bring us up to speed.
Some invited Super Eagles players continue to arrive at Asaba Delta State ahead of Saturday's 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against South Africa in Johannesburg. The team is expected to train Wednesday at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, which will be open to the public, while the other training sessions from Wednesday will be behind closed doors. The squad is due to fly out to Johannesburg Friday morning. Nigeria top Group E with 9 points, one more than South Africa, who sit in second position with 8 points. Nigeria's Super Falcons will arrive Ghana on Wednesday for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which begins this weekend. Falcons wrap their foreign camp Tuesday, having perfected plans to have successful participation in the 11th edition of the competition. 8-time champions Nigeria will get their campaign underway against South Africa at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium before Group B matches against Shi Polo Polo of Zambia and lately Equatorial Guinea, who were restored into the tournament following a CAF appeal panel ruling. As the 2018 Nigeria Ladies Open Golf Championship set to tee off November 22 in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, President of Ladies Golf Association of Nigeria, Ekaneme Kweme, has called for more support for the players who are hoping to represent the country at major global tournaments.
We're really trying to take golf out there. If you go anywhere and you say golf, they will first refer you to us because we are the ones that have been there before, you know. And like I said, we are representing the country. We need corporate sponsorship.
The 3-day tournament will have about 200 golfers from different countries of the world in contention. With sports update, Kene Ima Abodike, NTA News.
Many thanks, Kene. And just before we go, let's take a quick look at the weather picture across the country. And that's a package on Nationwide today. Many thanks for being a part of it.